when do you pair program and when do you not? Even though I'm a big proponent of pair programming, there are certain times when I think it's not a good idea to do it. So, for instance, like we talked about, if you've got a developer that just does not want to do pair programming, it's just not part of their personality makeup, don't. If you're assigned to work on a project with them, figure out a different way to work on it with chat. Do it through Slack or something like that. So they'll be much more comfortable.
Have copious notes in your PRs or whatever.
Right.
Explain how it works and why and whatnot.
Now, I will say I don't think that's nearly as efficient as pair programming, but there are some people that it's just not going to work. I think there's some other times, some other situations where pair programming is not really a good idea. And that is when you've got a market or client pressure and you've got more things that need doing than you have pair programming teams to do them. You need to do some individual stuff so that you can get those things out the door, because product delivery is a feature and you have to do that sometimes, assuming you want a paycheck. So there are some conditions where you got to say, okay, pair programming is not the right thing here.
Yeah, but I'm kind of going back to, if you had that flexibility to for the development team or the developer person, like someone's been assigned a particular task to complete. I like the idea that even though you have to complete it fast, well, maybe they think if they could pair with someone, they could get it done faster. Or yeah, it depends. I don't know. I'm just thinking about the developer being able to determine when to pair a program or not, even if there's this particular pressure on them. It's kind of like they have a responsibility to get this feature done. And maybe to them, the fastest way to do it is to do a pair programming session with Frank or whatever. I don't know.
Right. And in fact, I just did that yesterday. Area of code that I had to work on a ticket in an area of code that I was unfamiliar with. So I went and pair programmed with the guy that was familiar with that area of code, because I knew he could give me the answers much faster than me digging through code. So yeah, and there are times though when I've said, this guy may know more about the code than I do, but he's got something that's high pressure that needs to get done, and me pairing with him is just going to make that take longer.
Well, then he can decline, for example. So
sure.
then it's up to you to get her done.
Right. And it is a big communication thing, and kind of knowing when is a good idea to pair program and when it's not is an experience thing. It also has a lot to do with the culture of the workplace that you're in. If the CTO doesn't like pair programming and you keep doing it, probably not going to end well for you. I mean, it's just not. So you have to think about the corporate culture too. Or, if it's something they never thought about and you want to bring pair programming in, and your boss says, yeah, that's a great idea, let's bring it in slowly. If you try to say, let's pair program all the time, every day, that'll last about a day and a half, and everybody's going to burn out on it, and they're going to go right back to the way they were doing things before. So you got to kind of slow walk into those types of things, because it's a big culture change from from a place that doesn't do it at all to bring that in, because they're not used to doing it. It's a completely different way of working, and when the pressure's on, human beings will go back to what they're comfortable with.
Out of curiosity, what kind of things do you like doing pair programming, and what kind of things do you like doing just heads down coding yourself something? Are there particular tasks you like to do one versus the other?
Well, Not really. I would say that I probably prefer pair programming in a debugging situation more so than like a new feature situation. Although I see a lot of benefits for new feature pair programming, because thinking through new features, talking through decisions about new features is very helpful. But in practice, I end up using pair programming more in debugging scenarios than in new feature scenarios. Do I like one more than the other? No, I like them differently, I think. They have kind of different, they scratch different itches for me, but it's not like I like one more than the other. So one of the other things that I have noticed in pair programming situations and non-pair programming situations is that when I'm pair programming, my code is much more accurate because I've got somebody sitting next to me making sure that, you know, I'm putting the semicolon. I didn't misspell this thing. Yes, we're calling the right method. I can't remember what this call is called. Let me work on something else and you go look this up. Tell me what the method name is, that kind of stuff. So my code gets more accurate, which ultimately makes the team faster. Because the further down the chain a bug is noticed, the more expensive in both money and time it becomes to fix it. So if we're catching bugs as soon as we're writing them by having somebody else there who's thinking through it whilst one of us is typing, it ultimately speeds up the development process. Now, there have been a lot of white papers done on this kind of stuff, but I'm just talking about experience. Every experience I've had has shown that to be true. So
yeah, I mean, like when you're programming yourself and you implement some method and you get to the end and something's not working and it was working before, exactly what I was saying towards the end, you're missing something somewhere. You can't find it. And, you know, so the earlier you can catch that when you're right there, it's like, oh, duh, shouldn't have done that.
right. And we've all, I mean, every developer is in these situations almost on a daily basis where, oh my God, I can't get this to work. What's going on? And it turns out to be some stupid little thing that if you had somebody sitting next to you, oh, you forgot to put a semicolon at the end there. Holy crap. I just spent an hour trying to figure that out by myself, you know? And you know, we've both been programming for a long time. And I don't know about you, but I still find myself in that situation at least on a weekly basis. I do some dumb thing like that just drives me bananas, and it turns out to be something stupid.
Well, I mean, it always is, because it's kind of like I've done this before tens of times, hundreds of times, and it should work. I've done all the steps, but I've forgotten something stupid and I don't know what it is.
Right.
If you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here. Or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.